There's a new superhero in town, and he's only 7. Stay tuned.
I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hello. Hey, guys. Hello. Welcome to the Raising Dion after show. It is season 1, episode 1, the series premiere. I'm so excited to get into it. But tonight we're going to talk about the origin story of this new little guy, Storm Chasers, our special segment, news and gossip, our top 3, and predictions. But sitting right next to me, I have our Michael B. Jordan fan, Miss Suzi G.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here. This is a show. One of the shows I've been so looking forward to this season.
Yeah. So let's go ahead. I'm your moderator, Princess Carroll. I'm so eager to get into it. Let's just talk about it.
Yeah.
So what were your overall thoughts? This was the first episode. What were you expecting? Did it live up to it?
I wasn't sure what to expect, and it blew my mind. I was really looking forward to it. I've been reading some reviews on it, and after watching this first episode, I think if I were at home, I would continue to binge the next 5, 6, 7. So for me, it was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And what did you think?
You know, I loved everything about it. Sometimes with some binging shows, sometimes the effects can be a little off. They can look a little cheesy, but I love the special effects, and I'm excited to get into it later. But let's just get ahead and actually talk about the characters first.
Right.
So the first person we're introduced is little Dion, our 7-year-old in the 2nd grade. What did you think about this little guy?
I mean, he's adorable, first of all. And, you know, he's an up-and-coming little actor, and he holds his own in the show, which, first of all, I think is fantastic. But he starts out, you know, we're in this show, and he's kind of learning that he's got these superhero powers. But I think he's definitely going to continue to evolve as this show goes on. So we kind of just got a little glimpse of him and kind of how his little life is being played out after his father has passed away.
Yeah, I think he is doing a great job as an actor, and then to be able to be a superhero on top of that, that's really challenging. I'm going to stop calling him little. I don't want to insult him as an actor. But he's really good for someone who's so young. So I'm excited to see how he grows as an actor during this season, and just to see the arc of his character.
Yes.
And I mean, his relationship with Esperanza, so cute.
I love that because, again, he's kind of navigating his way in a new school, and he's kind of getting picked on, and he's got this little friend, Esperanza, and I do think that she's going to become more of a character as this show goes on as well. So I think it's just, I want to see how that relationship kind of comes to be.
Do you think that she could potentially, now that you've said that, do you think there's a possibility she could have some sort of power too? I'm feeling like there might be like an X-Men theme. There's a bunch of little kids with powers.
I was thinking that when he first approached her in the cafeteria, that kind of went through my head. I'm like, there's something interesting about her. And so, yes, I kind of want to see if something transpires with her. Or if they link up at some point.
Right. Maybe the word of the night is little. Maybe a little crush. I don't know. She's super cute.
I like her a lot. And the other thing that I think was so great about his acting, if you really watch him when he's getting into his powers, his little face, now I'm saying little as well, but as an actor being so young, he kind of moves into this like superhero character, and you see it in his face, and I mean, he does really well with that.
Right, exactly. I also wanted to get into the mommy, Nicole, who's clearly having a rough time, and understandably so. Her husband is gone.
Yes.
So what were your thoughts about Nicole?
Her character is definitely strong. She's obviously a brilliant actress. She's been in a lot, but they've created this character that immediately you're rooting for her from literally the first scene, because you can tell that she is just really going through a really rough lot in life right now.
And you can tell that she, to your point, she's trying to maintain it and just keep it together. And I love the fact that this is a strong single mom. And like you said, from the very beginning, we could see, okay, this is a woman who cares. This is a woman who's doing what she has to do for her baby. There might be, and let me know your thoughts on this, but just based on her friends' responses, I wonder if outside of the situation where there's a little cyclone in the house, essentially,
Right.
but do you think that she could have had maybe some mental health issues that the friends are concerned about? Like, do you think she had anything prior to that?
You could almost feel it when she is having coffee with her friends and they're kind of sitting around. You can kind of see that their closeness isn't almost what you would think it would be. And then she also goes to the hospital and visits a friend there, and her friend is very much concerned about her and had said that she had handed her lorazepam. So yes, I think that there had to have been some type of breakdown after the death of her husband, and it seems to me that she's still really struggling in getting over that.
It'll be interesting to see if the show kind of explores that. I feel like that's a subject that not too many shows explore.
Right.
So it'll be cool to see if that comes up again later in the season. But of course, we do know that she actually experienced that. We were there with her. So we know in this regard, she is telling the truth. This actually happened.
Right.
So we believe you, Nicole, at least for this. But anyway, the next person I just wanted to talk about was also Marc, who is played by Michael B. Jordan. We see him in and out.
Yes.
What were your thoughts? I know when we watched, you were teary-eyed a couple times.
I'm the biggest tear crier in shows, and it got to me because his character, although not in the episodes very much, they were seeing these flashbacks, and it's just her heart's melting still. He's a part of it, and it's just, you want to cry because he's just, you can tell he was a great husband, an amazing father. And so you see that again right away. And so it just brought me to tears.
Now, what did you think about the moment when Nicole found that phone number in his pocket, and it happened to be the woman that he was trying to save? What do you think that could be foreshadowing?
I don't know.
I
want to know your thoughts on that. I was like, what is going to happen here?
I don't know. We'll get into it more in the predictions, but I feel like there was some. Either it could be two things. It could be foul play,
right,
or an experiment gone wrong. And I kind of lean more toward that maybe Nicole. I don't know. Or it could just be straight up that Marc isn't who we thought he was. Could be that too.
That kind of went through my mind too. But it kind of was all of a sudden she, goes into her pocket and here comes the number of the woman that he saved and
gave his life for. At least we think.
We're all wondering, why is her phone number in his pocket?
Exactly. So time will tell. But another person that came up and we were actually like, who is this guy? Pat,
Jason Ritter.
I kind of wonder, at first I thought he was a love interest. I kind of feel like he's still maybe. What were your thoughts on Pat?
So Pat kind of comes and we don't really know yet who he is, but there was a feeling there that I caught on as well. And I kept thinking that, is this going to turn into some type of love interest for her? But it's, again, so soon to tell. We kind of just saw him for a brief moment. But I think his character is going to be really interesting as well.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to dive into his relationship with Marc. But then also, I think the same thing. I don't know if it was the look in his eye, because Jason Ritter is a good actor, so I wonder if he wanted to. I don't know. There's part of me that feels like maybe they have history, or maybe he has history, but she didn't reciprocate. Time will tell.
Or he's always been in love with her from afar, and now.
I know, and now she's single and available, and he just wants to be there. And I'm sure his heart is in the right place. He seems like he has good intentions. Right. He's a good guy. It seems like he was really close to Marc.
Yes.
So I'm hoping that who knows, maybe he was involved too. Maybe it's a giant conspiracy.
There's going to be a lot. There's again, I think going back, we've got all these young characters where we're like, are they going to turn into superheroes, or is somebody else involved? And again, there's so many little unknowns that they're throwing at us that I think are really fun. That's why I'm like, when can we watch the next episode?
I know. I'm excited to see them come together and to see everyone find out about Dion's powers? Because I feel like it's bound to happen.
Yes.
It's bound to start being revealed, and we've already seen him kind of reveal it by accident, and now I feel like it's gonna start happening more.
Yes.
So yeah.
And I think too, what we see in this first episode is that he doesn't have control yet.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was awesome because we saw so many great special effects that were going on, and they did a really good job with that. But I think it's going to be really neat to see him learn how to use these powers
Mm-hmm.
in a more controlled manner, because right now they're a little out of control.
Yes. Well, we have wonderful fans out there. They are not out of control. They are here with us. Do you have a message for them?
We do. We just want to say thank you for making AfterBuzz the ESPN of Talk TV. And honestly, for us to continue, you guys, and to grow, we would love your help. Make sure that you follow us on YouTube and you subscribe, you like and leave a comment. Make sure that you give us 5 stars on iTunes, and also just give us a thumbs up. And no matter what, leave a comment so that you can get involved in our conversations. And being a part of AfterBuzz, you guys, has meant so much to all of us here. You let us continue to thrive, and you guys are our super fans, and we are so thankful for you.
Thank you, lady.
You're welcome.
All right, so let's go ahead and just dive a little deeper into the relationships in the show.
Okay.
Because I feel like that is going to be key, especially for Nicole. Her friends, I feel like they have a special bond, and I'm excited to get to know their bond a little better and understand what's the history, or how are they childhood friends? Are they sorority sisters? What's the deal here? So, I mean, what are your thoughts about her friends and just kind of where that's going to go?
And like you said, we didn't see much of them in this episode, just a couple little glimpses. And I do think she's going to have somebody to lean on. Obviously, I think Pat is a character, but I think that these friends are going to end up being really on her side.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm kind of hoping that they begin to believe her, that there's something special going on with her son, because I think that that's going to make those relationships even stronger.
It'd be interesting. There were a couple moments where I felt like, okay, they might be roasting her a little bit.
A little bit.
Just a little bit. Like,
Yes.
guys, her husband is gone.
She lost her job.
She just lost her job.
Lost her job as well.
Right. Pie can't fix everything.
No.
It can fix a lot of things, but it can't fix everything.
Right.
So, I mean, but they do overall seem very supportive.
Right.
And I love the diversity of the cast too. Everyone was very attractive. I was like, wow, look at all these beautiful people. But then also it was really cool to just see the diversity in casting. So I'm all here for that. Happy to support it.
Yes. And I think too, just with kind of evolving in her character, I think anyone that's gone through something like that, I think sometimes at certain points, friends, not that they give up on you,
Mm-hmm.
but then they kind of come back around. So there's a dynamic there that we still need to kind of find out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, we did get to see a little bit of what seemed like a flashback from Nicole when she was at the bar and she was doing some ballet work.
Yes.
Yeah, so we got to see her on stage.
Right.
What do you think that was about?
I mean, I think she must have at some point been a dancer. And it's almost like she was reminiscing about probably a time in her life that was so special to her, and that she felt so free and liberated and happy, because I think as a dancer on stage, you just release and let go. So for me, it was almost like a flashback where she actually had peace.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and I think that's what a lot of dancers go through. So I think maybe she's just kind of looking back at those times where she really felt just at peace with herself.
Do you think that it could have been just kind of either a dream deferred or a situation where that's something she wanted and she could not pursue? What do you think that relationship could have looked like?
And that's actually a really good point, because again, since we're just getting to know her, that could actually as well. I think that's a really good point of it being like, was this something that she really wanted and it never transpired? How did she, we don't even know how she met Michael B. Jordan's character. So I think, like you said, what time period of her life did that take place?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm excited to see. Like I said, everyone, we got to see a little bit, or either see or hear a little bit of everyone's stories.
Yes.
So I can't wait to get into episode 2.
Me too.
But really quickly, I also wanted to talk about the world, because as we mentioned earlier, I think they did such a good job with the VFX and even the music.
The music was great. I actually wanted to tap on that. I thought they did a great job with all the music.
Yeah, what did you think of the song selections for we had Gangster's Paradise, we had a little bit of Mary J. Blige. How are you feeling about our music selection? And do you think it's actually going to kind of be its own character in the show?
You know what? I do. I think right away from the start that they've kind of started in different, like, that genre. So I do think that they will continue that and kind of keep that throughout the show. And I mean, I hope they do, because I really enjoyed what they were doing, and it kind of tied in with everything really well.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting that it's taking place in Atlanta.
Yes.
And I kind of wonder if that is going to, I'm sure it's not by accident that they chose Atlanta. So I kind of wonder, okay, what involvement does the city have in the location? Will that be a character unto itself?
And the other thing too, kind of that they only showed Atlanta for one small second. So again, I mean, we know it's taking place there, but exactly, did they meet in Atlanta? Have they lived there? Kind of why is it special?
Speaking of special, I just wanted to talk about the lake scene. So first of all, guys, we were both on the same page. He should not have been at the lake alone. He's 7.
No.
And especially given the situation
father
Marc disappeared in. Why is he there alone? What in the world?
So they go out to be like, I'm not quite sure why she would leave him alone at the lake and go inside, but, that was one thing that I was not quite the fan of in that episode.
Yeah, I'm going to cut her some slack. She's been a good mom thus far.
She has been an amazing mom.
But, I mean, I love that scene, though. I thought it was really cool. Again, the effects looked great.
Outstanding.
I feel like I was in the lake with them.
And exactly, like the way the special effects were done, you almost wanted to like try to grab the fish that were falling from the sky. They felt like they were in the room with you. Right.
I'm just like, who are these people? I need to look up who these VFX team members are and give them a shout out. Like, please teach me your ways. This is legit.
Great. And I hope that they continue throughout, which obviously I'm sure they will.
I'm sure they did.
Can't wait to see what other special effects we're going to get.
Yeah, definitely. Now, just to wrap it up real quick, do you think that Marc is dead?
So it touches upon the fact that she has not told her son. And so we see that was my tearjerker moment when they were having their mother and daughter bonding. Mother and daughter?
Mother and
son.
It's okay. It's okay.
Just complete bonding. But his body was never found. So like we said, is he in some like alternative world?
Right. We did see, I don't know if it's a ghost or it could be, again, being Miss Conspiracy, it could be like he's in a parallel universe stuck. I don't know. It could go either way.
Because when at the lake, those shadow creatures, we don't really know what the heck they are. They are obviously not good, but he appears in that scene, telling them to get away. So is he still around?
Yeah.
It's a very, very good question.
Or even when Dion brought up, what if Dad came back and, to me, I like to look at certain things in shows. I like to look at what the camera focuses on, also particular lines. Right. So I wonder, is there potential for him to come back? Does the son feel like, obviously he didn't know how his father died, but it also seems like, well, maybe he doesn't believe that his father is dead.
Right. And then in seeing his spirit or whatever that state was and him saying like, Dad, because he said that he's having trouble remembering his father, but now he appears. So I do think that there's something more to that whole scene that again is going to be explored. And I kind of want him to still be alive.
Yeah, me too. I mean, did you feel like he's Dion? Do you think that he's seen these people before? Something about it, he seemed a little too comfortable with them to me.
Right. And of course, we kind of don't know how long he's known about his superhero powers.
Right, that's true.
So this could be something that he has seen, and it almost seems almost kind of like a Stranger Things type of parallel universe kind of thing happening for him. And so he did seem, because he walked right through them and he didn't flinch.
Right.
So I feel as though maybe he has come across these people, these shadow people.
It'll be interesting. I mean, in a weird way, so I know that Pat talked to him about being a hero, but something about, I don't know if it's the power itself or if there's another part of him. Something seems a little sinister. There's also the music, going back to the composition. The music shifted when he uses his powers.
Yes.
So part of me wonders, is he a hero? Is he at a point where he's trying to decide? Right. Could it go either way?
And I think that's kind of the thing that puts you on the edge of your seat right now, because you are seeing a little devious side. And is he going to turn into a villain? We don't know yet.
Right. It's too early.
It's very early.
Yeah, it seems like he loves his mom, but there could be a little rebellious streak, and we don't know if that's just him being a little kid or if there's something more sinister behind it.
Damn.
Time will tell. Time will tell. But that is the first episode. So next up, we're actually going to get into, just to lighten it up a little bit, some news and gossip.
AfterBuzz
Suzi, what have you got for us?
Two things that are so great. Obviously, Michael B. Jordan is an executive producer of this show, and he's in the show. But he also launched a collaboration with Coach today, the clothing line, which is really cool. And also, he is doing another streaming show with Amazon. It's called Middle West. And he's creating it with Seth Rogen and also with Evan Goldberg. So, again, I like that Michael B. Jordan is tapping into kind of some of these streaming series. I'm excited to see what that brings on Amazon.
Yeah, I mean, we already know about his acting talents, but it's cool to see what he's going to be producing.
Yes.
You know, and what his taste is, and just, I mean, the fact that his first show that I've seen is about a little boy with superpowers. That's really cool.
I like it. I like that he's doing a little fashion.
Yes, that too. You can't go wrong with a good collaboration. Can't go wrong with a good collab. Well, thank you so much. That's really cool. I'm going to have to look for it in the Coach stores.
Me too.
All right. Well, next up, we have our special segment, In the Eye of the Storm. Suzi, can you explain that to us?
Yes. So one thing that we love right now is that we know that Michael B. Jordan was a storm chaser, and something that a lot of people really like to watch are storms and people chasing storms. So we are just going to cover some of the biggest ones in history, and we are starting off tonight with the El Reno tornado. It is the biggest tornado that has ever landed, and this was in 2013. And there is a man by the name of Reed Timmer, and he is a huge storm chaser. He's got a show on Discovery Channel, and he was in the eye of the storm. He almost lost his life. And so kind of just going in some of these bigger kind of storms that are happening, this was just one of the biggest tornadoes that has ever happened. And again, I think we like it because we all get really intrigued by watching these people storm chase, because they're risking their lives, and there's kind of some excitement and exhilaration. So kind of back to Michael B. Jordan's character, kind of wondering like why he chose to do that. But again, for our special segments, we're just going to be covering some of these big storms, starting with this El Reno that happened in Oklahoma.
That's so cool. We were talking about that offline. Storm chasing, it's so risky, so I would never do it.
No.
But it's really cool to watch after the fact. I don't.
Right.
I was telling you earlier, I don't feel right live. Like if someone were to live stream while storm chasing, part of me would feel guilty, like they're putting their life on the line for me. But if I saw it after the fact and they had just done it anyway, I think it's so fascinating.
Yeah, and we were talking about how Twister was just such a huge hit because everyone loves watching these storms. They're just, part of nature, and they're getting bigger and bigger, and it's kind of crazy to watch these people get into the eye of the storm.
Yeah, but they get so close though. Man, I'm gonna have to go home and watch the Weather Channel now. Great. Thanks, Susie. Thank you.
You'll be up all night.
Well, thank you for that special segment. Next up, guys, we have our top 3 because it is the season and series premiere. So today's episode is going to be top 3 superpowers because this is a superhero show. I know. So first up on the list is invisibility. What I would do to be invisible sometimes and be that fly on the wall.
Yes.
Susie, would you be invisible? Is that one of your favorites?
To be invisible.
What would you do?
I honestly think that I would just cruise through so many people's lives that I know and just try to see like things that I want to know that they do in their like daily habits.
Right,
like,
get all the tea.
get all the deets.
All the tea. It's a double-edged sword.
Yes.
But next up in our top 3, second best superpower is flying, especially here in LA. That would be such a gift.
If I could fly home tonight, I would be happy because I wouldn't have to get on a freeway.
We also wouldn't have to pay for plane tickets, which get really high.
And gas right now.
And gas. And then you could kind of be like Spider-Man-esque and just kind of whipping around town.
It would be great. Like kind of having your own helicopter.
Having your own helicopter. I like that. And last up on the list, we have time travel. Susie, would you go back or would you go forward in time? Or would you stay where you are? That's an option.
I don't think I'd want to go forward in time because I don't know if I want to see my future. But I would like to go back in time, and I would love to go back into the 70s. So I would time travel into like the 70s.
I like
my
that.
time period.
I like that. I think I might do, honestly, it's not even that long ago. I would go back to the 80s.
Oh, that was a great time.
I wasn't even there, but I feel like I was born in 1990, so I just missed it. But I feel like the thought of me was there because I was born in February of 1990.
Right.
So technically, I was like kind of sorta in '89 in a weird way. I don't know.
I could see you rocking the 80s.
Rocking the 80s. But yeah, guys, that is our top 3. Next up, we got predictions. So let's start predicting, lady.
AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Okay, so what are your thoughts? What do you think is going to happen during this season of Raising Dion?
Whew, I think a lot.
So much.
I definitely think that something is going to happen with Pat, whether there's a relationship with Pat and Dion that comes to be and Pat realizes his superpowers, or like we said, with Pat and the mom.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also predicting that something is going to happen with Esperanza, his little friend. I think that there's definitely something there. And I also think that she is going to become stronger as a mom. I feel like this superpower that Dion has might start to bring her out of this sad kind of coma that she's been in.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe this is kind of something that starts to pull her out and become a little bit of a super mom, her own superhuman.
Interesting. I think what happened to Marc is a failed experiment.
I love that.
Yes. There's something about it that seems, especially when we found that phone number,
Right.
there's something about it that seems, it just seems planned.
Right.
But then something went wrong.
Yes.
And I've also seen a lot of movies and TV shows that are in this genre, so I could totally see that. It's just fitting right into that.
Right.
But yeah, I think that this was a failed experiment, and I really feel like somehow, some way, one of Marc's experiments, and I don't know anything about what Marc did,
Right.
but somehow I feel like that has affected Dion and led to Dion's powers. I feel like there's some sort of weird connection. So I'm curious to see what that connection is going to be. I have no idea.
No.
The plot thickens. But we'll find out. I guess
Yes.
we'll talk about it in episode 2 if we see it.
If we see anything in episode 2.
But yeah, with that being said, that's all for tonight's show. Suzi G, where can we find you on social media?
You guys can follow me at Suzi G Styles.
And you guys can find me on Instagram and Twitter at PrincessCTV. We'll see you guys soon for episode 2. Peace out, guys.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.